seeing you in a setting that you are separate from. You're not really present in that setting. Your mind is in one place, your body is in another, right? I see you feeling out of place. There's something missing from the visual of you, from the energy of you. There's something unfulfilled. There's something unfulfilled. There's a feeling of lack. There's something that you want, something that you desire, and you have been asking for it, or you think you have been asking for it, and it hasn't come, and you're beginning to think that it will never come. And it's the human touch that you long for. It's intimacy that you long for. You long for sex, you long for passion. You long to join with another, to desire another, to be desired by another. And there's something about you, that is off. There is something about you who feels the way they do. They are very focused on the desire part of what they want. And you don't know why you aren't getting what you want, because you're asking for it. You're asking for what you want and it isn't coming. And what I'm feeling is that because of that, you have this sense that the fault lies outside of yourself, that you are not responsible for the lack of a return, for your wish not coming true, for your desires not being met. I get this feeling that you feel like the problem lies outside of yourself and that there must be a problem with other people because of the way that you feel separate from others. And I mean this with the greatest love, but it's actually a problem that resides in yourself, because when I look at you, when I look into you, I can see you and I see beauty. But I can also see through your thoughts. And what I see is that you aren't having beautiful thoughts about yourself. And so others can't see this beauty that I can see. They can't see through your eyes and into your soul. So they do not perceive you the way that you wish to be perceived. They do not see you the way that you want them to see you. And this is because there is an issue with yourself. There's an underlying problem with the way that you see yourself, with the way that you look at yourself. And so you are asking for the human touch. You are asking for your desires to be met. You are asking for sexual experiences. You are asking for connection. You are asking for pairing. But before you can get any of that, you have to be the person who can receive what you are asking for. And so what I'm being directed to say is that first of all, you have to begin a love affair with yourself. You have to begin passion with yourself. You have to begin sex with yourself. And you have to become comfortable with yourself and these aspects of yourself that you are asking for from another person. There is more to desire than actually manifesting, as in getting what you want, because manifesting is just basically the mechanism, but actually you can only obtain what you are ready for and what you are capable of holding. And so the reason why you're not getting what you want is because you are not ready to hold what you want. You're not ready to accept and receive what you are asking for, because you are not in the right place. Your vessel has not been prepared for such things. Excuse me. And so I urge you to begin with yourself, and before you ask for something, you need to ask yourself, can I hold what I am asking for? Can I handle what I am asking for? And that's the question that you need to answer before you start asking for what you want. Because what I'm saying is that when you ask for something and you don't get it, then you blame others, or you moan and complain that you aren't getting what you want, because you think that it is to be delivered by somebody else, when really you have to be ready for it to begin with. And then that is how you attract what you want, because energetically you will be matched with the thing you're asking for if in actual fact you are ready to receive. So if deep down underneath you have a lack mentality, if deep down you are incomplete, if the relationship with yourself is broken, if the relationship with yourself is flawed, and if it is not based on love, if you cannot look into the mirror and see a true reflection, then your perception is off. And so when you don't get what you want, you perceive it to be somebody else's problem. And I mean this with the greatest love from my heart. This isn't a judgment from me or my ego. And so what I want to do is just explain to you the cards that I pulled, because they actually explain this aspect of it all very well. So I picked 3 cards, and I will put them up on the screen. One card is protect, another is earthly pleasure, and the final card is sexual energy. We will leave protect until the end, and we will focus on earthly pleasure and sexual energy. Now, earthly pleasure talks about the thing that you are asking for. And so in this card, we have 2 lovers, and they are both naked, and they are having sex. Now, the thing about this card is that the 2 figures, they have wings. So they are not exactly human, but they have come to the 3D realm, to the material realm, to have this experience. So they are of a higher vibration, and they have come down into a lower vibration to experience this realm. But they do so they do so with their high vibrational self. Therefore, they aren't having sex unconsciously. They are very conscious, and they have conscious awareness, and they have discernment, and they are choosing with their conscious awareness, and they are experiencing the act of sex with the integration of their higher selves. And so it's this aspect that is important, because it is about taking responsibility for not only yourself but the other person. And so think of it like this: if you are high vibrational, you can only have a high vibrational sexual experience. And so you could enjoy explorative sex without shame, because you are high vibrational. If you are low vibrational, you will attract a low vibrational sexual experience, because you yourself are low vibrational, and you can only be matched. And in this card, these lovers are also mirrored above and below. And so they come from another realm, and they are in this realm, and they are participating in a sexual act. They are making love, if you like, if you prefer. But they are also mirrored in the heavens. They are also mirrored in the earth. And so in the card, it actually shows an actual mirror underneath the ground, amongst the roots of all of the vegetation. So what they do in this earthly realm is cemented, if you will, energetically. It is cemented into matter, but it is also reflected above with the mixing of the milk and the honey. And so it really calls for some consciousness about the responsibility. And what it speaks of is an emotional intelligence and an emotional maturity. And if you have an emotional maturity, and if you have an emotional intelligence, and if you have mastered the beast within, and if you are in control of your ego, then you can have a true sexual experience, a true intimate experience, a high vibrational sexual experience. And so I'll move on to the next card, which will help explain this further, which is the card of sexual energy. And this refers to sexual energy as creative energy, as life force. Your sexual energy can create life, right? It can create life. You can use it for other creative purposes. You can orientate it elsewhere. You can focus it elsewhere. It's very powerful. And therefore, to wield such energy, you need to be able to hold such energy. And more to the point, you need to be able to be in control of it, as you have to be in control of your emotions, as you have to be in control of the beast within. And on this card, I have depicted a woman with wings, and she is on the back of a horse, a black horse, which represents her shadow, which represents the beast within. And she has tamed the beast within. She has mastered the beast within. She has mastered her shadow. And she has wings so she could fly all by herself, but she is on the back of the horse. And this just refers to the fact that we carry our shadow everywhere. However, she has integrated her shadow, and she has escaped her mind. And in her mind there is a labyrinth. And the purpose of a labyrinth is to get to the center of the labyrinth. And in the center is enlightenment. And this is the gift of finding the center. I have the same image. I have the labyrinth in another card in my deck. And a younger version begins the journey. And when they reach the center, there is the older version of themselves, the one that is full of wisdom, the one who has earned the gift of wisdom. And so again, what this card is speaking of is self-mastery. It is knowing who you are. It is acting consciously and acting with intent and acting from a high vibration. Therefore, acting without causing harm, acting without causing trauma, acting without causing pain. So sex, if you invert it, then you get trauma and you get hurt and you get pain. And that is all low vibrational. So sex can be this transcendent experience. It can be utterly spiritual. It can be utterly divine. It is sexual energy. It is life force. But it can also be low vibrational. So what I'm sensing and what I'm feeling is that A, you haven't done the necessary work on yourself to feel like you are prepared for what you are asking for. Or to put that in another way, I don't think you are fully aware of the implications of what you are asking for. The implications on yourself, the implications to yourself. Now, there is some kind of denial going on here, and there is some kind of inner resistance, and it's more subconscious. But I think it has to do with the fact that on some level you have an awareness. Sorry, I'm finding it very hard to talk. I'm finding it very hard to catch a breath, and my mouth's really dry. What I'm sensing is that you can sense all these moving parts, and you can sense how fragile it all is, and how you're not only responsible for yourself, but you're also responsible for the other person. And it isn't just your nervous system, it isn't just your mind, it isn't just your heart, it isn't just your soul that's on the line, it's another person's. And I think that terrifies you, to have that much responsibility. And it terrifies you because you have not fully integrated some of the shadow aspects of yourself that are required for you to feel comfortable engaging intimately with another person. Which brings me to the card Protect. Because ultimately that's what you're doing under the surface. That is what you are doing. You are asking for something, and that makes you feel proactive. That makes you feel like you have honored your desire, and therefore you have relinquished responsibility for the outcome, and that makes you feel safer because you know you are not capable of delivering what you seek to yourself. And so on the card Protect, we have a woman who has fallen to her knees, and she is covering herself with two wings from a butterfly. And because she is doing that, a force field has been created around her, and it is protecting her from acid rain, which is falling from the heavens. There are butterflies outside of this protective barrier, and they are dying because they are being hit with this acid rain. But she is protected. But however, she has protected herself, but other things are dying because she hasn't protected them, because they aren't protected. So this is where we dive a little deeper again, because there's this sense of only taking responsibility for yourself. There's a sense of, well, butterflies are a symbol for transformation, okay? And you've got all these symbols of transformation dying around you. And your focus is on protection. Your focus is on not carrying any responsibility. You're choosing to save yourself. However, you do this by choosing ignorance. And I mean this in the best possible way. This is not a judgment by any means. But you are not choosing to protect the transformation. You're not choosing to transform yourself. You see, there's a consequence, right? There's a consequence to this. All these butterflies are dying. All these opportunities to transform are dying. But because you are protecting yourself, you have this false sense of safety, and you have this false sense of you're going to be okay. However, you're cutting yourself off, and you're killing your opportunities to transform yourself into the person you need to be in order to receive what you truly want. You see, intimacy and sex, you just think of how many humans have problems with intimacy and sex. There are a lot. And you find that people are split. They are very, very split in intimacy and in sex. And there's a lot of inversion going on. There is a lot of low vibrational energy in amongst all of this. But there is also a lot of separation in the individual. There is a lot of misunderstanding. There is a lot of incomplete people indulging in very complicated things. Think of it like this: a child is not prepared to experience everything as a child. Some things they can only experience when they are an adult, when they have matured. And if they experience those things as a child, they do not understand them. Because they do not understand them, something else happens. They become affected by what they do not understand. It becomes an unhealed wound, and they don't even know where to begin to heal it, because they don't even know what the wound is. And so what I'm trying to emphasize, and what I'm being directed to ultimately point out, is that if you are afraid of something, it's because you do not understand that something. That doesn't necessarily make it wrong, especially if you can't make up your mind whether it's right or wrong. You just do not understand, and many people can have an understanding but not have a high vibrational understanding. And so again, if you are low vibrational, you're not going to have a very high vibrational idea of anything. You can only see things in that light when you yourself have a high vibration, because you see a completely different perspective, because you're not I hope I'm making sense. Ultimately, many of us are not prepared, which I think is what the summary of this whole message is. Many of us are not prepared, particularly for human relations. We are not prepared for human relations. We are not prepared for intimacy. We are not prepared for life together. We are not prepared for connection. And this is the problem. What do we like for time? Where are we going with this? Is there anywhere else to go? Is there anywhere else to go? The saving grace, right, is that fundamentally there's nothing wrong. It's just a misunderstanding. It's a little bit of denial. It is a little bit of ignorance. It is a little bit of, holding yourself back. It is a little bit of self-sabotage. It is a little bit of resistance. All these things you can change. This is your self-development, and this is your growth, and only you can do it. So you never do anything wrong. It is just the way you approach things. And right now it's the way you are looking, and the way you are seeing, and the way you are misinterpreting the situation. And so I'll go back to the point I made before about beginning with yourself, beginning with sex by yourself, beginning with intimacy by yourself, getting comfortable, getting to know who you are, doing some shadow work, admitting some things that you do not want to believe about yourself, accepting that you are both light and dark, accepting that you are not perfect, and that is okay. We are all a work in progress, and it's okay, but these things must be integrated, not denied. They must be a part of us. If they are not a part of us, they are fear. Okay, my camera shut off there. It does that after 30 minutes of recording, and I kind of find the setting to knock it off. But the message is basically done, but I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything. Well, I'm being drawn to an aspect of the earthly pleasure card, because what you also see is a portal. And so this is talking about sex as a transcendent experience. It's this outer body experience. It's when you come together with another human, when you connect to each other's energy, when you become positively charged with another, when how can I explain it? It almost doesn't have words good enough to fit an explanation, but it's power, and it's the sum of both. Therefore it is more. And so together you connect, you become more, you create more charge, you create more electricity. Everything amplifies. What was once impossible suddenly seems possible. Your mind empties. Sexual energy is raised up the body. Your whole body is invigorated, stimulated, alive, a receiver, an antenna, and has the power to open up a portal to transport you elsewhere, anywhere, everywhere. It has the power to heal. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to create. And yes, it has the power to destroy if inverted. But if you are emitting a high vibration, if your signature is a high vibration, a high frequency, then sex is positive and powerful and affirming. And everything is, if it is high vibrational. We can experience everything both ways, depending on who we are. And so you have very different perspectives. If you're looking at sex between two high vibrational people and sex between two low vibrational people, you can see the difference and you can feel it. You can feel it. You can feel the difference in frequency and intention and in effect, right? Because trauma will be created. You will see some hurt. You will see some pain. However, the same can be experienced very differently between two high vibrational people in the same act. I also want to draw to the fact that it is an experience. It is an experience. It is an aspect of life. It is an aspect of having a physical body, of having a human body. It is an aspect of that. It is a dimension of that. In another way, it is the universe flowing through you. It is God. It is pure life force, feeling pure life force. And it's powerful, and people feel that it's powerful. And not everybody's ready for the power. Not everybody is mature enough for the power. So there's a difference, and that's all I'm trying to emphasize. That's why sex has many different faces. It depends on who's having sex. So, in summary, you are asking for more. You are asking for intimate connection, for human connection. You are asking for, and all other aspects that stem from that, right? You are asking for romance. You are asking for deep trust. You are asking for intimacy on all levels, on the deepest levels. You want to experience that. It comes from deep inside. However, you are not prepared yet in your own vessel. You are not prepared in your own mind. And first you must need to become comfortable with the things you are asking for. And you need to understand what you are asking for. And you first must release this in yourself, because you will be expected to give that also to the other person. And if you can't do that, then you aren't ready to receive, because it is about connection and it is a two-way street. It's about giving and taking. That is the trust, right? It is about allowing yourself to receive and allowing yourself to give selflessly to the other as well. And intimacy, you can't have intimacy without trusting the other person with the most naked version of yourself, whether that's in your physical body or your mind or the depths of your soul. It can't be obtained without giving it all to the other person and trusting them. And the power is in when they show you that you are right to trust them, and that is when it is transcendent. But that's it, that's the gig. You can't get it any other way. You have to take a risk, and not everybody is ready to take a risk with themselves. Not everybody is ready to give, but they all want to receive. And this, what you're asking for, you have to give what you are getting. That's what the beauty of it is. That's where the magic is. That is where the true alchemy is. The true power is. And two people who get together in this way can show it to each other. They both mirror the power in each other. And that's why couples become more powerful. When two people get together, when they connect, when they birth passion for each other, when they have trust, and when they are emotionally mature, this is when they become a force together. A force, a powerful force. And couples will always materialize more together. They will always manifest more together. So I just want to leave that with you. As I said, this comes from the kindest place in my heart. These are just words of, and I'm just seeing this, right? So I'm just then giving it to you, and I'm giving it exactly as I'm getting it. So I'm not putting my own ego into it. So imagine I'm just reading from a bit of paper. If I seem if I don't seem like I'm very sympathetic, it's not really what this is about. I'm not really in that aspect of consciousness while I'm delivering a message. But yeah, that's basically the message. I think I've covered all bases, and I think I've gotten the sentiment across. And as I say, this isn't to feel bad about yourself. This is just really to point you in the right direction and to get you out of this cycle of seeing what you want, but noticing that what you want doesn't see you, and you then assuming that it's their problem, and then going into this powerless place where you just complain that you don't have what you want. And really all you need to do is become clear about what you want, and you do that by finding out more about yourself and spending time with yourself and finding the truth within yourself, because once the truth is revealed, then that is what you are an energetic match for, and that becomes the thing that you can manifest and the thing that you can obtain. So if you want intimacy, if you want sex, if you want, if you want a relationship in every way imaginable, then you have to work on yourself to be able to give that to the other person also. And when you can, be sure in yourself that you are capable and able to give what you're asking for to the other person, then you will be ready to receive. You will be ready to receive.